everyone, welcome to Keto Living. Yay, I'm so excited about today. So today we are going to be making an awesome recipe. We are going to be making jambalaya, keto style, of course. This recipe came from my friend Beth Grace, who got it from All Recipes on allrecipes.com. So hi Beth. So I've been trying out a lot of her recipes lately because they looked yummy and I would eat them, of course, the way they were if I weren't doing keto, and because I like to try to take recipes that have already been written and change them into keto recipes. Now, if you've not joined me on my other channel, my Keto Journey, I hope that you'll come over and join me on that channel. On that channel, you'll see meal planning and different recipes and what I eat during the day and health tips and all kinds of things like that. So I hope you'll join me over there. So let's get started on the jambalaya. Okay, as I said, I've changed the recipe somewhat. It calls for andouille sausage and chicken. Well, I didn't have any boneless chicken at the moment, and if you recall my Aldi's haul, I'll refer back that to a lot. I bought my groceries for a month ahead, and so unless it's fresh or almond milk or heavy cream, I'm not adding anything else to my grocery menu. So I went with what I have, which I love seafood jambalaya. So I am going to be using shrimp. Now I am using andouille sausage. I love this. This is what I use, Zatarain's andouille sausage. It's very low carb. It's less than 1 carb per serving. So I really like this one. Also, you're going to need some garlic. And I'm just using minced garlic that I have in a jar. You're going to need some crushed tomatoes. Now, the tomatoes, this is a Walmart's brand, but it's sugar-free, meaning that no sugar was added to it. So the only sugar that is in it is what's naturally there. I'm also using some Tony, whatever this last name is, Creole season. It's really good. And I'm only using a half an onion because I'm only making this for myself. And this right here will be probably enough for, a dinner, a lunch, and maybe another dinner. So I'm using half of a medium onion. And then I'm using the rest of my zucchini and squash in there. Now their recipe called for celery. And if you like celery, that's fine. You can put that in there. I don't happen to like celery cooked. So you can just change it up and make it to your own liking. So, and then we're also going to be using some rice cauliflower in place of rice. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go over to the stove and I'm going to brown my sausage and then saute my onions and my zucchini and squash and my garlic. Okay, I'm just adding just a tiny little bit of olive oil to our pan just to give the sausage a starting place. And let me adjust my burner a little bit here. I'm just going to cook this on about medium high. And I'm going to bring over my ingredients. I'm going to be adding the sausage for sure. And just letting that get warm. Okay, so now we're going to add the sausage in. And we're going to brown that. Now, we're not putting our shrimp in until the last 5 minutes of cooking time because obviously shrimp doesn't take long to get done and I don't want it to become tough and rubbery. There is nothing worse than eating tough and rubbery shrimp. So we're going to let this get nice and brown. And then I have another pot back here that's sitting on warm. And we're going to make the soup of the jambalaya in this pot. Now, this recipe calls for a slow cooker, and I have a slow cooker, but I don't have all day to wait on this. So I am going to be cooking it in the pot. And because I'm using ingredients that are mostly done, and we're going to saute everything up ahead of time, it's not going to take long for all these wonderful flavors to meld together. So what I'm going to do, turn this down just a little bit. What I'm going to do over here in the pot is I'm going to go ahead and pour my tomatoes in there. Okay. And I'm going to let that start warming up. And then I'm just going to add a little broth to get it to go somewhere. So, any kind of broth you have is fine. And then when the sausage gets nice and brown, I'm going to go ahead and transfer it over to the pot. Now, I know that Beth added more liquid to hers, but I'm not adding that much liquid because I'm not having to cook rice like regular rice. And so we don't really need that much liquid. I may add a little water to it just to thin it down just a little bit. We'll see how it looks. Okay, guys, so it's almost ready to put in here. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, well, if I can get it out. And if it's a little bit more, it doesn't bother me because I like spicy, of the Creole mix into the tomatoes. Give that a stir. Okay. So now we are ready to take out the sausage. They're nice and brown. Adds a lot of flavor. I'm just going to leave everything in there like that. I'll transfer this over here for a minute. And I'm just going to put the sausage into the sauce so it can be cooking as well. Put that back on there. Give that a stir. Okay, so now we're going to add in our veggies. I'm going to give this another little zhuzh of olive oil. And this is organic olive oil. Okay, we're going to put the onions in there. And let them start cooking. You just want them to be very translucent when you before you put the other ingredients in there. Because you do not want to burn your garlic. Most people don't think they like a lot of garlic because they burn it. And when you burn garlic, it tastes very bitter. So we want to make sure we always have something else in our pan besides the garlic first. Okay. Now I'm going to add the zucchini and the squash. And with my onions. Oh man, this would make a yummy meal on its own, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to sprinkle a little bit of the seasoning on my squash and onion. And then I'm going to add about a half a tablespoonful of garlic, maybe a little bit more. I love garlic. Now, if you want your vegetables or onions especially to sweat out and get really soft quickly, you can add a little water to your pan and let it cook out. That will definitely help the process along here. But I'm going to add salt. And salt actually draws out the water in a lot of different vegetables, like the squash, the zucchini, the onions, like mushrooms. It draws out the water out of them. So we're just going to let these chill out for a few minutes. Okay, so these are nice and tender and soft. And I am going to swap out the pot now. Put this on my little placemat over here. And we're going to put the onion, zucchini mixture into the pot. Making sure we get all that yummy goodness out of there. Now, turn that butter off. We're going to let this cook probably for about 30, 40 minutes. And then I'll see where it is. And then I'll add my shrimp in and we'll be done. I am going to put a lid on this so that it cooks nicely. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to add one of my vegetables. What was I thinking? I forgot to add my okra. Now, okra is very New Orleans, southern, and okra has 4 carbs, but 3 grams of fiber. So it's only 1 net carb for a whole half a cup. So I'm just going to add that in there. And I did drain some of the juice off. But I love okra and jambalaya, gumbo. It's just one of those nice vegetables you can put in there. Okay, so I'm going to go grab a lid and put a lid on the pan. And then we'll let it cook and then we'll come back. Okay guys, so we have been cooking for about 30 to 40 minutes. And the next thing we're going to do to this is to put our rice in, or our cauliflower rice in. So I'm just going to put this in. And this just needs to cook a few minutes. Now, I did pre-cook it a few minutes in the microwave only because I wanted some of the liquids to come out of it. And if you want the liquids to come out of it, you need to kind of pre-cook it a little bit. Because I like my jambalaya a little bit thick, but, and it is going to cook down some more. But man, I'm telling you what, this looks amazing. Now, if you want more cauliflower, you can put a whole bag. I'll be honest, this was just a half a bag. It's what I had left over from cooking a cauliflower mash the other night. And so, but if you want more, put more in there. But I think it's fine for me. Now, this recipe, as I am fixing it, will have 7 carbs per bowl full. So, as you can imagine, I don't eat a lot of carbs during the day, but you're allowed 20 carbs. And so, usually breakfast, I have no carbs. Lunch, maybe. But a lot of times, I'll do intermittent fasting during lunch. So, we're just going to let this cook about 5 minutes, and then we're going to add our shrimp. Okay, guys, it's been about 5 minutes since our cauliflower is here. Here's our shrimp, and I'm just going to give these a light dusting of the Creole season as well. What can I say? I like spicy. But, of course, you can adjust the seasoning to your liking. Now, this is only going to take a couple of minutes, probably about long enough for me to walk this bowl over to the sink and come back. And it's going to be almost done because it's piping hot and it really won't take the shrimp long. It's not quite there yet. Maybe a little longer than to walk to the sink. But I can tell some of it's getting really pink. So I'm going to let this, see, here's a nice shrimpy right here. And I can tell it's almost there. So I'm going to let this cook probably about another minute. And then I'll meet you back over and we'll dish this up and give it a try. Okay, guys, we are all ready. The shrimp look yummy. Y'all, this is one time I really do wish I had smell a camera. Because if you could smell this, oh my gosh, your mouth would just be watering. It smells so amazing. And it looks that way too. So I'm going to slide this over. And we're going to dish this out some. Oh, wow. Trying to make sure I get a piece of everything. Like, who am I kidding? I'm going to eat all this myself. Not today, though. Okay, so we had that all dished up and looking quite lovely. Pardon me, I was taking a camera for my thumbnail, taking a picture for my thumbnail. Now, okay, this is not part of the recipe, but it's my recipe. This is my favorite hot sauce. It's Frank's hot sauce. It is a cayenne pepper hot sauce, and it has the best flavor ever. So I am just going to put some of that on here as well. Oops. Y'all know I'm a fiend when I lick it straight off my fork. Bowl. I do love hot. Okay, so I'm going to put you up here, and we are going to give this a try.